Hello students, good morning. Welcome to the session. In this session we discuss about concept of mimesis, evolution from play to Longinus. Through this article we would be able to know about what is mimesis and how does it came into existence and the ideas of Plato to Longinus. Through this essay, we would be able to find out the key words mimesis, literary imitation, reality, traditional, classical criticism. And this is an article by Chen V and Jeong W.M. published in 2014. First of all, there has been given an introduction about the article. Since Nietzsche's iconoclastic declaration of God's death in the 19th century, an overwhelming doubt has gradually sunk in among the modern intellectuals that whether there is any ultimate truth or reality literary figure in the modern world, a world shaped and reshaped by manifold forces such as power and knowledge, mass media and mass communication, new technologies, etc. However, when people's attention is shifted to the boyhood of Western civilization, the Greco Roman days, it is the truth, the reality that has towered above all the most sacred topic ever discussed and mediated by Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, the trio who from their stance on poetry and poets, mainly in accordance with their view on the truth. So here the writer is trying to talking about truth and reality. And through this introduction, we are able to know in the ancient times, Greco Roman literature, it was truth. And it is against such a context that comes into being the concept of mimesis, a concept which is originally closely related to the philosophy rather than poetry. Here, the writer tries to say that the concept of mimesis is more related to philosophy rather than the poetry. But it does not mean that it is not related to the poetry. Uh, it is related to the poetry along with philosophy. Here, the writer is trying to define the mimesis. Mimesis or imitation, the classical concept derived from Plato's ontology and epistemology as well as his position on poetry is further discussed by Aristotle in his influential treatise on poetry, Poetics, which serves as an important purpose in his philosophy as a whole. So, from where the concept of a mimesis has been taken from Plato's ontology and epistemology as well as its position on poetry, and it has been further discussed by his pupil Aristotle in his Poetics, which is a treatise on poetry. Later on, two outstanding literary figures in the Roman period, Horace and Longinus. So, these two literary figures are also related to the concept of mimesis, Horace and Longinus. And here we are trying to know the ideas of all these literary figures on the concept of mimesis, resume the discussion of the ancient topic, and narrow down the concept of mimesis to its literary aspect. So here we are able to know that Horace and Longinus narrow the concept of mimesis to the literary aspect. The former recognizes the importance of imitating nature in a ununified humorous way, but puts emphasis on the imitation of the method of the techniques of the earlier writers, so as to put the newly made wine into the old bottles. So as to put the newly made wine into the old bottles, the latter, however, upholding the sublimity of the great thought and the echo of a great soul, attaches great importance to the inhalation of the divine vapor of the great man of old and emulation of the great spirit of others, which is essence is also called imitation. Only that the emphasis is shifted from technical copy of objectives to the spiritual expression of subjectivity of the writer himself. It is Longinus who extends the concept of mimesis to an elevated level and lays the foundation for the romantic criticism. So, through this heading introduction, we are able to know how the concept of mimesis interpreted time to time from Plato to Longinus, and we are able to know there are various literary figures who are related to this concept of mimesis or imitation. First of all, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Horace, and Longinus. Longinus shifted the concept to concept of mimesis to an elevated level and lays the foundation of the romantic criticism. So here the writer tries to connect the concept of mimesis to the romanticism or romantic criticism, and which has been started by Longinus. So it is enough for today. In the next sessions, we would be novel the evolution and what Longinus thinks, what Plato thinks, what Horace thinks in detail. This is just a brief introduction of mimesis. Here, we have discussed the meaning of mimesis, what mimesis means, and how does it came into existence, how does it has been how does it has been interpreted till now. So thank you.